Let's explore Document Object Model events in JavaScript. We'll cover understanding event handling within the DOM, which is essential for creating interactive web pages. The key topics include event types, event flow, event delegation, and custom events. We'll go through each of these in detail. Here are some of the most common event types in JavaScript categorized by their nature. First, we have mouse events such as click, double-click, mouse over, and mouse out. Then we have keyboard events like key down, key up, and key press. Next are form events, which include submit, reset, change, and input. DOM content loaded, load, and scroll are part of the document events category. Finally, we have touch start, touch end, and touch move as touch events. In the code block, you see an example of adding event listeners to a button for a click event and to the document for a key down event. These examples demonstrate how to use event listeners to trigger functions when specific events occur. The event flow in JavaScript consists of two phases, the capturing phase and the bubbling phase. In the capturing phase, the event travels down the DOM tree from the document to the target element. After reaching the target element, the event enters the bubbling phase, where it travels back up the DOM tree to the document. The diagram here illustrates this flow with the capturing phase going down from the document to the target, and the bubbling phase going up from the target back to the document. This can be controlled by setting the third argument of the addEventListener method to true for capture, or keeping it false for bubbling. The code block shows event listeners set up in both capturing and bubbling phases. The parent element captures the event before the child element, illustrating the order of these phases. JavaScript provides several methods to control how events propagate through the DOM. Event.stopPropagation prevents the current event from further propagating in both capturing and bubbling phases. Event.stopImmediatePropagation goes a step further by preventing other listeners for the same event from being called. Event.preventDefault cancels the event's default behavior if it is cancelable, without stopping the propagation. Finally, using the option capture, true in addEventListener, lets you handle the event in the capturing phase instead of the bubbling phase. The code block shows a way to use stopPropagation, preventDefault, and stopImmediatePropagation to control the event flow, and demonstrates how these methods prevent default actions and other event handlers from being executed. Event delegation is a technique for handling events at a higher level in the DOM tree. Instead of attaching event handlers to individual elements, you attach a single handler to a parent element. This leverages the event bubbling to manage events on many child elements using only one listener. This is more memory efficient and can handle dynamically added elements easily. It also reduces code complexity. The example code shows how to delegate events on a to-do list to manage delete and edit actions of each item in that list, demonstrating how to listen for events on a parent element and handle events on specific child elements. Custom events in JavaScript allow you to create and dispatch events that are not part of the standard DOM events. First, you create a new custom event instance with a name and optional custom data, the detail property. You then add an event listener for the custom event on the target element. When you dispatch the event, it triggers the listener. Finally, within the listener, you can access the custom data through the detail property. The flow diagram illustrates this process. The example code shows how to create, listen for, and dispatch a product-added custom event with specific data, demonstrating how custom events can be used for application-specific actions. The event object provides detailed information about the event that occurred. The type property gives you the type of the event like click or key down. The target property refers to the element that triggered the event, while currentTarget refers to the element handling the event. Timestamp provides the time at which the event was created. IsTrusted is a Boolean indicating whether the event was generated by a user action. Finally, bubbles and cancelable indicate whether the event bubbles up the DOM and if the default event behavior can be canceled respectively. The code block demonstrates how to access different properties of the event object within an event listener, which allows us to understand the nature and origin of the event. Touch events are a set of event types that are triggered on touch devices. The touch start event fires when a finger first touches the surface. The touch move event fires when a finger moves across the surface. Touch end is fired when a finger is lifted from the surface. Finally, the touch cancel is fired when a touch is interrupted by the system. The code example shows how to use these events to implement gesture-based interactions. It includes how to use prevent default to avoid scrolling when the user interacts with the touch events. Keyboard events are triggered when a user interacts with the keyboard. Key down is fired when a key is initially pressed down. It provides the key, which is the actual key pressed, the code, which is the physical key code, and the repeat, which indicates if the key is being held down. Key up is fired when a key is released. It provides information about the modifier keys like Alt key, Control key, and Shift key state. The example code shows how to use the key down event to check for specific keys or keyboard shortcuts, and how to use the key up event to handle user input or special key combinations. Mouse events are triggered by mouse interactions. The click event is fired on a single click, while double click is fired on a double click. Mouse move is fired when the mouse cursor moves across the element, while mouse enter and mouse leave are fired when the mouse pointer enters or leaves the element. Mouse over and mouse out events are similar to mouse enter and mouse leave, but they bubble through the children of the element. Client X and Client Y provide the coordinates relative to the viewport. Page X and Page Y provide the coordinates relative to the document, and Screen X and Screen Y provide the coordinates relative to the screen. The example code shows how to track the cursor position, how to handle hover effects, and how to log metrics for click positions, demonstrating practical uses for various mouse events. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.